New round of peace talks, as I mentioned, between the U.S. and Iran that were scheduled to start in Switzerland today. Well, they've been postponed. And the White House is blaming what it calls logistical issues for Vice President J.D. Vance canceling his planned departure. CBS News congressional correspondent Nikole Killion joins me now at a new location, the North Lawn of the White House. Nikole, great to see you there. Catch us up on what we learned today.
Well, we just heard from the president, who was standing in front of a brand new Air Force One plane that was gifted to the United States by the Qatari government. But he did spend some time talking more specifically about the latest with respect to Iran continuing to tout and defend this memorandum of understanding that was signed this week between Iran and the United States, and also referencing that 60-day clock that gets underway to try to strike a more secure deal with respect to Iran's nuclear program. Now, as you mentioned, those technical talks were set to get underway today in Switzerland, led by Vice President J.D. Vance. But so far, we have not been given any updates as to when the vice president may travel there, although yesterday he told reporters he thought it could still potentially be this weekend, but we're kind of in a wait-and-see mode at this point. But the president still defending this deal as a good deal, obviously continuing to defend what he sees are perceived victories from the U.S. campaign against Iran through Operation Epic Fury. Once again, reiterating how the United States has really defeated Iran militarily in terms of its Navy, its Air Force capabilities, its ballistic missile capabilities. But that being said, as you very well know, Major, there's still a lot of questions and criticisms from both Democrats and Republicans about this deal, about whether or not it gives away too much to the Iranians, particularly without negotiating some of these nuclear issues up front. And so that is really, the devil is going to be in those details whenever those talks eventually take place.
Nikole Killion, thank you very much. CBS News contributor Roger Carstens joins me now. He's a retired lieutenant colonel with the Army Special Forces, and most importantly, spent a very long time and played a very important role in U.S. hostage negotiations with various administrations. Roger, I'm glad to have you here. Thank you very much. Give me your evaluation. You've been in tough diplomatic conversations. You know how hard they can be. Evaluate what has been achieved, if anything, and what is still yet to come.
Major, first off, thanks for having me here. And secondly, I think the negotiations are funny in that there can be a lot happening just under the surface that we just don't see. A good example is the hostage negotiations. We have currently 6 or more U.S. citizens that are currently being held as wrongful detainees in Iran.
Inside Iran.
Indeed, we do. And there are some of our partners and allies have citizens, like Ahmed Reza Jalali. He's a Swedish scientist who was taken by the Iranians in 2016, undergoing a death sentence right now. So 6+ Americans, 25 of our partners and allies, they're held hostage. And we don't know if they are part of the negotiation or not. They're not a part of the MOU. And yet, when I talk to my buddies that are still in the administration and working it, they're like, look, we're still working it. These are certain things that you just will not see, and they're not going to pop on the front page of the Wall Street Journal, nor in your show. And yet I've been assured that these negotiations are taking place.
Right. So we can never be certain what is being talked about and what is being talked about but not disclosed.
Yes.
That's
correct.
a key difference. But we have things that have been disclosed. We have a text of a memorandum of understanding. Some Republicans on the Hill are sort of muttering to themselves, is that all there is? Really? That's all we've got after almost 100 days of war and a very stout U.S. and Israeli joint military set of strikes in Iran? Shouldn't we have more? Is a question they're asking. How would you answer that question?
I think no matter what happens, I think we are at risk right now in that you see that in points 4 and 5, the strait is to be opened. And then if you go to points 10 and 11, they're actually going to be giving the Iranians something before the negotiations reach that final point of 60 days. So regardless, if they start to meet and start to negotiate, we are going to unfreeze frozen assets. Right. And by the text that you read,
waive sanctions.
Yeah, and waive sanctions. So that means they can sell billions of dollars worth of oil. They have free and unfettered access to banks so that the money can move around. And that's important because the Chinese, for example, have funds that the Iranians have in kind of like I say storage. And if the banking systems open up to the Iranians, that money can be repatriated from China back into Iran. So there's a lot of money at stake. And at least by my reading of the text, it seems like the Iranians will kind of get that up front. It'll be front loaded before the negotiations are completed.
And that alarms a lot of people who are not necessarily hostile to this administration or to President Trump.
Yeah, and I'd count myself as one of those. You know, I'm hopeful that this, as things go forward, things start to settle out a little bit. But I would fear the money getting into the hands of the Iranians when we've not seen a behavioral change yet, because we still are worried about the funds going to things like supporting proxy armies, their missile drone complex, their strike complex, and also just working with proxies around the Middle East.
And Roger, there's also this other issue of a reconstruction fund. It's not U.S. taxpayer dollars, but it's $300 billion of neighboring nations willing to rebuild Iran after Iran attacked them.
Now, I'm glad you brought that up, and that's kind of troubling, too. So
that tells me they're trying to get back into some sort of tenuous relationship with Iran because they know Iran has withstood this attack.
That's exactly how I read it.
And that's bad news, isn't it?
You know, I think it is. If the Iranians were going through a behavioral change, that would be another thing. Or if there was some sort of regime change, I would be saying other things. But a government that killed and murdered 30 to 40,000 of its own citizens in a 48-hour period in January, now making promises to us, just like they have in the past, that they're going to cease their nuclear weapons programs. I just have to be a little skeptical, and I'm just hoping and praying and wishing the best to the negotiators from the United States to turn this deal into something good. But I think as I look at the MOU, it looks troubling.
Roger Carstens, great to have you here. Please come back.
Thank you, Major. I appreciate it.